It has been a while since we have talked about Austin St. John and everything that's been going on with his trial. And today I wanted to kind of give an update. We're going to kind of go over a few things just to kind of give everyone a refresher and stuff because it has been a while. But first of all, I want to say a big thank you to Henry Resilient for sending these over. He emailed me these documents. And I just want to give a massive shout out. I'll be linking his channel and everything in the description as well as the top pinned comment. But let's go have a check over. Let's definitely read all this and kind of go through it. These are the court documents. So we're going to kind of go over a few things. This might be a bit of a long video, but we've also got notes from Henry on this one. So first of all, when it says Jason Lawrence Geiger, which is aka Austin St. John, aka the Red Power Ranger. Now, a lot of speculation on this has been that when these kind of go through onto like the jury and stuff like that they want to make an example. It's like if they put down Robert Downey Jr., they would say AKA Tony Stark or AKA Iron Man. So people go, oh my God, it's a celebrity, because there's nothing out here like I've seen that has anything different. So from them putting in like say the Red Ranger, people are going to link this and go, oh my God, and they know exactly who he is. So this is all the information. We've got things redacted as well, so you won't be able to see it because they are big things. So to kind of give you a brief thing of going over. So the Small Business Administration, the United States Small Business Administration, SBA, was an exclusive branch agency of the United States government that provided support to entrepreneurs and small businesses. The mission of the SBA was to maintain and strengthen the nation's economy by enabling the establishment and viability of small businesses and by assisting in the economic recovery of communities after disasters. So obviously when COVID hit, a lot of businesses were like, oh my God, like I can't survive this. I need help. Who's going to help? And the government set up a thing in America. They did it, same thing in the UK, but I think it was called something else. But they did the thing called a Paycheck Protection Program. And what this basically meant was you would submit information to the government. You would kind of ask for a loan of money that you would then pay back later on. But I don't think there was any interest or whatever. It was just literally as an interest for paying it back, like a percentage. If there was, let me know down below in the comments. But because of all of this, it meant that you could keep at least employees okay, so you can give them money while they were, going through the whole pandemic. This was a huge thing. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security Act was a federal law enacted in March 2020 and designed to provide emergency financial assistance to 1 million of Americans who are suffering the economic effects caused by COVID-19 pandemic. One source of relief provided by the CARES Act was the authorization of forgivable loans to small businesses for job retention and certain other expenses through a program referred to as the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP. If I call it PPE, I don't mean it, I mean PPP. It's just it sounds like PPE, but that's how it was in the UK. Okay, that was something different. To obtain a PPP loan, a qualifying business was required to submit a PPP loan application, which was signed by an authorized representative of the business. The PPP loan application required the business, through its authorized rep, to acknowledge the program rules and make certain affirmative certifications in order to be eligible to obtain a PPP loan. In the PPP loan, SBA Form 2483, the small business, though its authorized representative, was required to state, among other things, its A, average monthly payroll expenses, and B, number of employees. These figures were used to calculate the amount of money that small businesses is eligible to receive under the PPP. In addition, businesses applying for a PPP loan were required to provide documentation showing their payroll expenses, so on and so on. This is literally everything there. I'm not going to kind of go way into this because this is just kind of a refresher. Count 1. From approximately in or around May 2022 and continuing through the date of this incident, the exact date being unknown to the grand jury in the Eastern District of Texas and elsewhere the defendants. So we've got Hill, Morgan, Newman, Hatley, and Jason Geiger. We know that 16 loans were taken up to at least $3.5 million, and I think they were sending money to Spencer, alleged ringleader in all of this. So they were getting PPP loans, sending him the money allegedly, and then that was the whole thing of what was going on. When we look into this a bit more, it says the defendants used the PPP funds for unauthorized personal purposes, including cash withdrawals, gold and silver purchases, luxury jewelry items, and vehicles, like, expensive cars maybe. But when we look at the Cord Newman Global fraudulent PPP application, on or about the June 20th, 2022, Cordman Newman Global submitted a materially false PPP loan application to Cabbage Inc. Newman signed the PPP application as the primary contract and designated Newman account as the bank account to receive the loan funds. On the application, Newman certified that the funds will be used to retain workers and maintain payroll or make mortgage interest payments, lease payments, and utility payments as specified under the Paycheck Protection Program rule. So it kind of went through that. Now here it says Cordman Global PPP loan account was accessed electronically from an IP address resolved to the defendant, Morgan, residents in Louisville, Texas, in the Eastern District of Texas. The same IP address was also tied to the PPP loan accounts for the following conspirators. So those people there, which is good for Austin St. John. Now, the kind of final part where we move on to the next part here, it says here, between on or about June 23rd, 2020 and on or about July 2nd, 2020, Jason Geiger and someone else had transferred a total of approximately $421,000, which again is a lot of PPP funds, to Hill's account. When we move down here, it says on or about June 17th, 2020, Jason obtained a PPP loan for approximately $225,754 for St. John Enterprises, which is the company. Of the PPP funds obtained, Geiger sent approximately $22,579 to Morgan and invested approximately $170,000 with Spencer. So you've got apparently a missing of $33,175. We have Hatley, which he pleaded guilty. Didn't realize that. That's kind of interesting. And then just all this information that you can see basically just shows what they rent: vehicles, stuff for inventory, funds for restaurants and travel, and luxury items, including is it Louis Vuitton or Louis Vuitton? And then obviously for Morgan, it's $70,000 in a personal bank account. So these are all the funds right now for all the amount of money that's gone. So for St. John Enterprises, which is Jason's company or Austin's company, $225,754 right there. And I don't know if this is linked in Hartley Roofing and Construction, which is $184,375. This is the thing here, which I'm guessing is linked to Austin. So imprisonment up to 20 years, a fine of $250,000 or both. If violation affected a financial institution, then imprisonment up to 30 years and a fine of $1 million. Supervised release up to 5 years. So that's quite a lot. In the next page, this is basically Austin saying that he is not guilty. He has entered a plea for not guilty. So it basically says here, the defendant has received a copy of the first suspending indictment in this case. Defendant understands the nature and substance of the charges contained therefore or therein, the maximum penalties applicable thereto, essential rights after being advised of all the above by his attorney. Defendant understands he has the right to appear personally with his attorney before a judge. I can't say that, in an open court on this accusation. Defendant further understands that the absent of the present waiver, he will be arraigned in open court at the time and date previously designated. Defendant, having conferred with his attorney in this regard, hereby waives personal appearance with his attorney at the agreement of this case and the reading of the indictment, and by this instrument, I told you my reading is really bad on this one, tenders his plea of not guilty. The defendant understands that the entry by the court said plea of defendant will conclude the arrangement in the case for all purposes. Defendant understands that he has the right to a minimum period time prior to trial, so that trial shall not commence less than 30 days from the date on which the defendant first appears through counsel or expressly waivers counsel and elects to proceed pro se. I don't know. Henry basically says like he can change his mind if presented with a deal. Signed by Jason Geiger and his attorney. A plea of not guilty has been entered for the defendant effective this date, which is signed on the 6th day of November 2023. Now, basically, we have an agreed motion to continue the trial. The United States files this agreed motion to continue the case. So kind of going over what Henry's put down, it says the recent suspending in indictment, pulling in additional defendants, and the prospect of multiple pleas, the government requests a continuance, which means they've got new people in, they're taking deals. So they're going to kind of check this over a few times, go over, say, hey, if you say you did it or you do this, then we'll reduce your sentence, or we'll do this or we'll do that. That's my kind of interpretation. Could be completely wrong. Now, the trial was originally going to be set for November 6, 2023, but the government apparently double booked, so that they kind of they have moved it. So you have now approximately 10 people that they've kind of looked into this, and Austin St. John is one of those people. So obviously they're going to get more time to look into this, to get more people to do it. So the other trial that we've got coming up, which is the next part of all this document, is what it's going to show. It's going to give you the date that all of this is going to be done, and obviously that's going to be done in 2024. If we go here, second, on September 13th, 2023, a United States grand jury returned a suspending incident in this case, naming 4 additional defendants in this conspiracy. There are 4 defendants that have not yet made appearances, but agreed or even been made aware of the pending indictment. So basically this doesn't look good for Austin St. John. Not good for Austin St. John and others. And obviously he's kind of, Henry's explained. So this here is something that I was like, holy shit. The government anticipates that there will take time for these individuals to find counsel and view the discovery in this case, which is voluminous and contains dozens of financial records, interview reports, loan applications, audio recordings, and images of electronic devices. So that is something big. I would like to hear if Austin has actually talked about this, like when he's getting the loan, what it means. And I'm hoping that these are going to be open to the public, because that would be something to kind of look into. But yeah, the government doesn't mess around on this. They take this very seriously, so they're going to go hard, and they're not going to be like, oh man, you're my favorite Rangers, so yay. This is a massive thing where, damn, Austin, if they find him guilty on this, dear God, that's it. But I will report it if it is. Third, the government continues to have active and productive plea decisions with defense counsel. The government anticipates that many of the defendants' cases can and will be resolved without trial. So Henry does check a lot for plea deals often, so obviously this kind of gets put in, so I'm guessing that obviously this all gets updated. It's a lot, let's just say that. So this part here is government want you to plead out. If you waste their time, you serve more time, which again is fine. Like, you know, if you're going to waste a lot of time for this, yeah, you get more prison time. You know, it's not something you want to fuck about with. You want to get everything done as quick as you can, but as thorough as you can. I would not want to be in Austin's like predicament right now. So yeah, that's not a thing. So for reasons the government will correspond, I think, from all but one of the defendants' counsel seeks a continuance to at least May 2024. At which point the new defendants would have had time to review their discovery and potentially plead, and the parties would be able to give the court a definitive count of the number of defendants and time needed for a trial. This motion is not made for delay, and it's all kind of done and dusted. This is pretty much what we're going to be looking at now to kind of bring this video to a close. So this document goes over briefly about everything that's been going on, so we're not going to reread it because, you know, there's no point to it. The gist of all of this document is to say, hey, you know, we need a bit more time, you know, we've extended it, you know, more information needs to come forward, you know, here the continuance will provide additional time for the government and defendants to engage in the review, analysis and preparation, assimilation and negotiation contemplated by the requirements, effectively assistance of counsel under the 5th and 6th Amendment to the US Constitution. So it does kind of go over a lot more, which is it's kind of interesting. But we actually have a court date, which here is, like, it says, like, pre-trial motions deadline, except motions of continuance, which is April 15th, 2024. Deadline to file motion to continue or notify court of plea arrangement. So that's around, so we got the 15th of April 2024, and then April 22nd of April mark 2024 by 12 p.m. Court settings is pre-trial conference May 13th 2024 at 1:30 p.m. Jury selection and trial May 20th 2024 at 9 a.m. So I'm guessing this part here is like all the evidence has to be handed in, everything has to be done. Then obviously the kind of pre-trial conference goes in, and then you have the jury selection, and therefore that's when the court case does. So we're looking at either the May 13th or May 20th. And there we go. There is a lot that I kind of really wanted to talk about on this. There is tons. Like, I didn't want to just be like, oh, bam, bam, bam. Like, there has to be a bit more of a backstory. In the next one, I don't think we'll be talking about all of this, but I'll just continue where we're at. But yeah, this is moving forward. This is something now that the US government is going to be looking into. This won't be, kind of swept under the rug. I originally thought it was just being pushed back because of Austin doing a few things with conventions and stuff. But no, apparently it's just that they had more people come forward, more evidence, and a load more stuff happening. So yeah, this has all been set in stone now. This is going to be an interesting trial to see what's happening in 2024. Again, I'll follow this. I'll kind of go over it. I'll be watching Henry talk about this sort of stuff as well. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on it, give you the update of everything going on. And I'm going to leave the video there. If you like this sort of content and you want to hear and see more, hit like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon as well as the channel memberships. I completely blanked then. But yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat, Kira Stanada. Your help goes a long way to help support the channel, and if you want to help support the channel, the links to my Patreon and channel memberships are listed below in the description.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。